Okay, we are recording. Hello, Danica.
Morning.
How
You
are you?
you can I'm fine, thank you. You could see my assignment, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Came out exactly the way it should look.
Okay. I was just like nobody was posting any other assignments. I was like,
Yeah.
is this visible?
Mm. Yeah. Well, that is sometimes the problem of online stuff. If it's not done in the sort of traditional in-person way, sometimes it's hard to know what's happening. I know I took an online course this summer, and there were times where I just like, if you're not interacting with people in person, sometimes you feel like you're doing it all by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
and then we didn't have a class on there was just a recording because I tried to connect. There wasn't anything in my calendar and I was a little bit late and
oh,
then
okay. Well, I'm not sure how that got screwed up. I guess I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that was different for you, but
yeah,
because
I
I
went to
had
my like usually I saved everything in the beginning. I was like, oh, there's nothing here. So I tried to use one of the other, but
okay,
it didn't
yeah,
work.
okay. Well, um, yeah, I guess I usually something that it's possible that this happened once for the history class where I when I open up the WebEx that's like there's a big green button that says start meeting, but that's not the meeting scheduled for that day.
Oh, okay.
That's just like, hey, you want to start a meeting? You know, do it right here. But since I
Okay.
made a schedule, then I have to go into a meetings tab and then choose the specific meeting for that class. And it happened once where I just like mindlessly just chose that initial start meeting button. And I was in a meeting completely separate from the students. And I was like, where is everybody? And so I checked email and someone was like, are you going to like start the meeting? And then I realized what I had done.
Okay.
So then I was able to go into it. So I hope I didn't do that. I don't think I did, but I hope it's
No, I
possible.
didn't have a link, so
Oh, that's weird.
I
May-
went to my calendar and
Huh.
I didn't worry about it beforehand because it's usually there. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
there's nothing here.
Yeah. Well, that's, it's
Try
possible.
to look for it.
I think that's probably my mistake. I mean, it's probably like, I mean, like I sort of schedule a certain number of them and I thought I had it gone like, into exam week, but I guess I didn't. Well, anyway, um, as long as you got here today, that's good. And the recording from Tuesday was um, going through the process of making a mapping out another animation strip. I took the tape off of um, my Zoetrope that I made, and what I found is like using the white paper was fine. Um, you'll see like when you shine light directly into it, you can see like the animation through the paper on the side face that's closest to yourself, but you can see it just fine. So I'll show you that after I demonstrate um, putting this um, posting something in the discussion board. So let's go to there. I'll share my screen. All right, so you can see this. So like here, if you have submit complimentary portrait here. So what you want to do for a discussion board, create a new thread. So for yourself, you'll create a thread. And then you can do the image. And you can, right here, so this is a test of how to submit a photo in the discussion board. So with all this, like there's all this stuff for writing, choose this little like the plus symbol, and then insert local files, and then you can submit something from there. Mm-hmm. There. So this will be just the photo, but not a link. Just like this will be just the photo. So then if I submit that, and then I have mine, I can choose that, and then you can see the photo. If I want this to be smaller, because it's kind of like fills up a little too much of the screen, so I have to scroll to see the whole thing. I think what I want to do is I'm going to find this screenshot. Oh, here. And in just like in the image, this like image viewer on my Mac, not even, you don't have to open it in Photoshop or anything. So here, adjust size, and then here for I can just change the measurement of it. If this is too large and I want it to be smaller, I'm just going to say 2 by 3. Save it. And then I can close it. Then I can come back here. If I don't like that, I'm going to edit. And I will get rid of that. So I'll just delete it. And then I'm going to put this back in and just put this smaller size one. You can see right here it says like 220. Like it's not like 1 megabyte would be way larger than you need for something on the web. 220 KB is much better. There. So this is a good demonstration. So it's actually something I chose this for that other discussion board with like colors showing like the complementary pairs in nature, where you've got this like yellow and violet, and then the orange and the blue. Sort of what happens when you look at a sunset. How's that? Good? And then if you want to go back to the forum, click that up there, and then it'll give you to the either ones. These are the 2 different threads. So again, if you want to create a new one of these, create a new thread rather than, like if you look at Donica's, this is done as an attachment. You can either do it as an attachment link, or you can do it just like posted straight into it. I mean, this is convenient that it creates this link, so it just opens up as a separate window. And this is what the complementary assignment really ought to look like. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to stop sharing and then share it again. Good morning, Brian. Oops. That is dear old Ned, who is no longer with me. Lived to be 21 years old. There, one minute. Camera. There. And there's Elliot, my trusty little man. There. Okay, so here is my, reduce that. Here is my Zoetrope. And I put these little stabilizing pieces of cardboard right on either side of the, like on the foam board to stabilize the stick so that it stays a little bit more rigid, so that when I turn it, you can actually see it. And you want to have a light shining into it like that. Makes it much more visible. Sorry. All right, so there you can see, if you just look inside, you can just see it going by. And then with this, little baby. There, you can see it. Got to be going at a certain speed to really show. You can see, so that's correct. You can see it's, bigger, smaller, and then that's just zooming by. There. So you can see with this white paper, you can see with the light inside, you can see the animations transferring through. That's fine because you don't really see that. If you've got, excuse me, the black paper will prevent that from happening. Okay. All right, so this is, this device, the way I've built it is effective. So you do it like that. You don't necessarily have to have, like the one video has, you got a straw on there. Sure, you can do that, but I can just like let it, just like hold it loosely, and it'll be fine. And there you are. This other one. Okay. All right, this guy. So the thing that, with this assignment, that is important is that the animation works. It doesn't have to be extremely sophisticated. It'd be better if it's simple and works than it be complicated and not really work very well. So here, out of there. Okay. So in this one, I left the first frame blank. And I'm just approximating, like if I have like this is the middle and go over to the diagonal here and then draw the next one a little bit lower and draw over a little bit lower. And if you do this just as an approximation, like here, if I want it to slide all the way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And I got my 18 I'm leaving blank. So this is about right to be in the middle. Went a little bit too fast. Let's see how this works. I'm not really taking advantage of, I think I'd have to adjust this. Oops, can't see me doing that. Okay, that's like the same. Okay, so this, I have, because of the larger circumference of the disc I used here, I've got more frames to use. So this idea might even just be a little bit too simple, or it's actually it's I could do something more complicated than that. So I could have another one follow it. Let's see. Oops. All right, so it's in pencil. And I'll just test this out. Yeah, it's okay. Take this out of here. All right, and let's see. Even without taping it in there, let's see if I can get it to where you can see it. Yep, it's working. All right. Not yeah. This one works. It's okay. I mean, I could have some other things happen. Yeah, but that's if I've got it. So let's just say, for example, I like this one. I could just go ahead and ink that. Is there anything any of you are trying to do that you would like me to demonstrate here with this one? Okay.
I think it would be too complicated to make
What's
a
that?
little. Would it be too complicated to make a little cartoon of a fish getting stuck on a fish hook? Something like that?
Not necessarily. Let's try it. All right. So how might we do this? Um, let's see. I guess so. This is. I mean, it's a good challenge. I mean, we could start. I guess the thing is, like, if the imagery is too small, it'll be hard to see it. So I want to make sure that I can see it. So if I want to have like maybe thinking like the line with the hook will come down. Make sure that this is coming down in this about the same spot. So if I ink this, I can make it pretty clear graphically. I don't want to go down too far all at once. It's too fast. So from the bottom, I draw over and then just make sure that the next one goes lower. And then here, okay. Starting to open its mouth a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then that will be okay. This might be a little fast. If I want to show the action of the fish opening and closing its mouth, I might. This might have happened a little too quickly because it goes by pretty fast. I want to have the fish's body move a little bit. And then, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, if you wanted to be really exact, and you might want to be, if you measured from the edge of the frame in like maybe an eighth of an inch and made sure that that string is, the line for the fishing line is um, always that same width from the edge of the frame, it'll keep it nice and straight. So I want to keep the fish fairly simple. Right. No, 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 no. All right, let's see how this works. So I'm going to start by penciling this in. And drawing the fish so many times, keeping the scale consistent is one of the challenges. So, but the trial and error process is important. So if you started off with just your best guess, and since it's in pencil, if I need to correct it, I can. This paper has been a little bit torn. Ugh, Awkward fish. So if this works, then I'll ink it so that it's black and very solid. But if you try drawing any detail on the fish, it's not going to be seen. So the fish should just be a dark shape. All right. Let's see. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, it works. Get this closer to the camera. There we go. Can you see that?
Yeah, not really clearly, but I can see it.
Yeah, I need to ink it. So I can. So I mean, I think it might be difficult for this specific device for the video to show it very clearly. Hopefully, if I ink it, the pencil is a little bit light. Got my glasses on. I'll need a finer pen for the detail on the edges. Mm-hmm. Okay, almost. Oh, awful tail. Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's see. Okay. It works better now. Can you see that any better? There we go. Yeah, I need to take that in there. So the the short answer to your question is yes. You can make this animation of a fish getting caught. There, take the back. What the heck? I forgot to change the. There we go. That's better. Yes, you can. So whatever you're doing, you want to just make sure that it's a gradual change from frame to frame, that you keep them aligned as much as you can within the frame, and just with something like this, this is very simple. It's a very simple fish shape, but when you use it in the animation, I mean, you can see some of these. It's not necessarily a great drawing of a fish, but it's meant to. It does what it needs to do. So, and if you see all the cells together, you can see the gradual change from start to finish, and it will work. But how many like how to figure out how that action fits into that number of frames, that's something that you should have to try. And usually, like the first time you try something, you'll either go too fast or too slow, and then you realize I have to change it. So do it in pencil and then make the adjustment. And if you have you can make a video with your phone. If there's someone else around where you're living, and you can have that person either film it or turn it, and then just make a little, just does not have to be a long video, just something really short to show that it works. And I think that with the way Blackboard works, it can only take a file of 25 megabytes, which means that if it's a video, it has to be very short. Otherwise, you'd have to post it on something like in like Google Docs or um, kind of like the Google Drive or something, some other kind of like place where you can park it on the internet. And I have the YouTube channel, which is convenient, but that's and that's actually good because the YouTube uploads are a lot faster than in Blackboard. Even if none of my videos are short enough that I could post them in Blackboard anyway. So, yeah. So, and if you have questions, you should ask me. Any questions?
So since the video, like when you film it, it doesn't always show clearly, should we also include a photograph of the strip
Yes.
as well?
I think if you take a photograph of your 3 strips and the Zoetrope device, so I can see what you made, and I can, like you can see here that, I mean, I could look at, if I looked at a strip drawing like this, and I could see like, I could probably see if it's too fast or too slow. But yeah, so take a still picture of all of it and send it. Like you can post that in a discussion board. I'll make another discussion board um, for it, and then take a short video of it working. Does anyone have any, do you have any drawings you'd like to share with me? Or any of the animation strips that you've got you'd like me to look at?
Yeah.
I mean, I can do this. Do you have the menu of buttons and is one of them share at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, so if you, I guess you could. I mean, I guess if you had a picture of it, you could share it, or if you had like kind of like what you did last time with your phone, just sharing the screen on your phone. Or you can take a picture and send it to me, and I can do that offline. I guess, yeah. Also, so would you rather have it be separate? Like, no, you could do this here. Let's go to. I'm gonna. create a new forum. Can you see this screen that I'm sharing here? Create
Okay.
forum. Okay. Now, let's see. Make sure your fingers are aligned right on there. Okay. Or Zoetrope. Your strips. There. Okay. Do 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 do. And allow you to edit. You can see how it's done. The thing that I've never liked about Blackboard is that when I set this, I can see if it says, like, if I grade something, that it will, like, it'll tell you that you got an A, or it'll give you a percentage, or it'll give you the number of points you scored on it. But you can only see one of those. So I have to set it to either say you got an A or you got, 45%, or you got 90%. I can see multiple versions of it. And I've asked people who manage Blackboard, like, why is it like that? And they say, like, oh, it just is. Like, well, I don't, like, you guys need to see more. If I could show you that you got an A and it was this percentage, or it was an A and this many points, that would make more sense for you. I don't need to see it as much as you do, but I don't know. Blackboard was designed in the 90s, and it really still seems like it's stuck there. Anyhow, enough complaining about this platform. It works okay. So if you go into your Zoetrope and you create a thread, and then you can, post a photo, there. Tell us it's you. So this is your thread for your Zoetrope thread, and then there. So then insert local files to insert some video, or I guess you would even have to just do like there. This would just be for still photos. Like this, if I say I want to do like a YouTube video. If you do have a YouTube account, you can do that. I've not used the slide share myself. So some of these things you have to have that specific software. You have to have done it in that specific format to be able to use that. So yeah, so for writing, this is sort of like standard, like, word processing, um, features. But then here, if you want to insert a file, it's this plus sign, and then you would insert local file, and then choose something. Which one? Here, this is, I was working with a student on how to draw dogs. So we wanted some different dog faces. Ta-da. So if you have a picture, like if you've got like the pictures on your phone, um, you can, I mean, the way I would normally do it for myself, if I can control the size of it if I have it on my desktop computer a little bit more easily. So I'll have it copied to my, I'll save it to my desktop on my computer and then do that. You could do this all straight from your phone. There. So if you wanted to post that, I'll, you can even do this like if you say like you have your thread, you create your thread, and within your own thread, I can go into this and I can make like, you can just keep making more, like you can keep replying to yourself. And so if you wanted to just like put some pictures here and ask me, just say like, here's this like photos, and then here's like a link to the video. You don't have to do it all in one thread. I guess like you're doing it all in one thread, but you can make multiple posts within your own thread. So as long it helps me, like if I go into like discussion board and I see there's the complementary portrait and then there's the zoetrope, and then I go into the zoetrope, I see all the people that created threads. So it helps me to see where your stuff is. Okay. Now I want to talk about there's going to be a vocabulary quiz next week. We are obliged to have some kind of a meeting on during exam week, and next week is exam week. So here, this is the vocabulary list of terms and definitions that is in Blackboard, and the last page, plus a little extra, has the color terms. So you did the monochromatic. We didn't do an analogous scheme, but you can read this and see what an analogous scheme is. And I believe I did mention this in class, that these hues adjacent on the color wheel, ranging from a primary to secondary. So adjacent means they're next to each other, and that is what analogous means, is that they are similar and related. So yellow, orange, and orange would constitute an analogous color scheme. And you would use multiple values and saturations of those three hues. And you can combine them because they just make subtly different versions of each other. So you could have like yellow orange, but a little more orange, and so it's more like orange yellow orange or something like that. You could use white, you could use black. Probably you would want to use like a really really dark brown instead of black, so that it coordinates in terms of color. But yeah, monochrome is multiple values and saturation of a single hue. So it's one color or one hue, and then black, white, gray mixed in and all different kinds of ways, but there is no other hue introduced with a monochromatic scheme. Mono means one, and chroma refers to the presence of color. Complementary, you know very well by now, hues opposite each other on the color wheel, blue and orange. So the difference here, like analogous, you have adjacent colors normally ranging from a primary to a secondary. With complementary, you also have, you often have a primary and a secondary, but they're not adjacent, they're across the wheel from each other. And that is important because when you mix them, you don't get blue-orange or you don't get orange-blue. If you mix blue into orange, you get darker orange, as you know by now. And at some point, that mixture either becomes neutralized, or if you've got, too much yellow in your orange, then the blue will make it look green. And then, that's, you just wouldn't use that mixture because if it reads green, it doesn't belong in a blue-orange complementary scheme. A triad color scheme, 3 hues evenly spaced on the color wheel. Normally that's either the primaries or the secondaries as distinct hues can be used as a color scheme. And there are times when you see it. Sometimes like the primary red, yellow, blue is used for kind of like annoying, like, preschool interiors, because honestly, I am of the mind that you should let children live in good and well considered color habitats rather than throwing vibrant, annoying colors at them. Children are already stimulated enough as it is. They don't need this like crazy primary color scheme making them even more stimulated. Secondary, so primary, 3 hues that all colors are made from, red, yellow, and blue. You don't mix to create red, yellow, and blue. They occur. The secondaries are hues made from 2 primaries, green, orange, and violet. Tertiary, a diverse range of hues made from an adjacent primary and secondary, yellow-green, blue-violet, red-orange, for example. If you are writing a definition for tertiary and you tell me that it's a combination of a primary and a secondary, that's not enough information. You have to say that they are adjacent on the color wheel, because a complementary pair is often a combination of a primary and a secondary, and that's not tertiary. And I once saw a color theory book that said that tertiary is like the mixture of 2 complements, and that's just plain wrong. I think she accidentally, the author, like goofed this up, and like mixed up those 2 definitions. So anyway, hue. Hue is a term that refers to a color's identity, so frequently synonymous with the term color. Blue is a hue. So if I if I ask you which hue are you going to use for this, you would tell me which one. Yellow, orange, depending on what it is we're talking about. Value is relative lightness or darkness of a hue. So value is a very important component to color, as you know with your complementary painting, because creating lighter and darker versions of one of the 2 hues is how you match the value of the black and white photo. And that's a really important, really important component of color. Saturation is the degree to which color is present. Hue, value, and saturation, anytime there is a color, you've got those 3 in combination. Temperature, warmth or coolness of a hue, sometimes is a subjective evaluation. So it's really more like, we make associations with temperature. So, Yellow we consider a warm color because we make associations with sunlight, fire, that kind of thing. Um, blue is cool because of water, ice, snow. But blue does not necessarily have to be cool, but it normally carries that association. And then chroma is a general term that refers to the presence of color, sometimes identified inaccurately as saturation. I've seen that in several color theory books where they just lump in chroma and saturation as meaning exactly the same thing, and they don't. And I know I went over this, I'm going to say it again. Monochromatic refers to one hue. It's got nothing to do with saturation. You can have something that's very saturated or full saturation red in a color scheme. And then in the same color scheme, you can have the red with a lot of gray in it, and that changes the saturation. That's got nothing to do with how many hues are present. So chroma, monochrome means one hue. Polychrome means multiple hues, and that's got nothing to do with it, how saturated it is or is not. Tint, shade, and tone. Tint and shade, hue plus white for tint, or the lightening of a hue, and then shade is hue plus black for the darkening of a hue. Tone is hue plus gray. Some people who write about color theory don't bother with the term tone for graying a color. I don't mind it. I think it can be good to be. It can help you be a little bit more specific. And just for your information, the term tinting. I used to work in a paint store many years ago, and tinting is the term that they used in this paint store to refer to changing a color. So they have tint base, which is what which is like the base medium of the paint. And then they have this sort of injectors. That's just sort of they open up the can and then they just squirt certain they have machines that are calibrated with all the different colorants, and they have formulas to create some sort of a tan color, and they would just squirt a certain amount of a little bit of orange, some black and some white, and just then they would mix it, shake it, and then it would be according to the formula it would give you the color of the paints of the sample. That's in the paint business, they call that tinting, which is not the same thing as in color theory. So just be aware, in color theory, hue plus white is tinting. Ta-da! And then, don't worry about the rest of these terms. Value goes with color. That's why I have it repeated, because it's a very important component of color. Okay. Have any of you taken a quiz or an exam on Blackboard?
Yes. So will it be posted so we can take it at
It'll
not
be,
whenever, but
yes. I'll just have it open and available for just a period of time, and I will let you know when it is posted. And it'll be, it's really going to be more it's in terms of taking it, it's not going to be a difficult quiz to take, but for myself, just in terms of you learning things, repeating things helps. So if you have the information, if you take a quiz and I ask you to write an answer to a question or to choose the correct term from a list of options, that helps to reinforce the information that you've gotten in the class. And considering we can't be there, I can't give you a paper test and stand there and scowl at you while you try to think up the answer. That's since we can't do that, and that's okay. There's less pressure with this quiz.
Is everything due next Thursday, or do we have some
I'm
more
going to
material?
say the last day, since I have to do grades by by Monday of the following week, and I cannot turn my grades in late, otherwise I will get into big trouble with the dean. So it will be, I'm going to say Friday at midnight next week, December 18th, would be the absolute last day you could turn something in. Any other questions? Okay. Um, so next, yeah, by the end of next week, if you have any work still out there, make sure that that you like with all of these like with the complementary portrait, with the zoetrope, post the finished work in Blackboard, or if you really just like can't, if you really just like I can't figure out how to do this, I will be willing to set up like a video time to help you either post it or at least so that you can show it to me. I mean, you would have to activate a camera on your end in order to do it that way live. But I realize this is if you haven't posted things online before like this, it might something that is not that difficult just might. It's like if you don't know, you don't know. So it's you just like either need someone to show you how to do it, or um, usually that's just kind of it. So, but let me know if you're having any trouble getting things posted. Okay. I don't want that to be an obstacle. Okay. Well, I think that's it then. Um, I wanted to just, wanted to go over a little more about the zoetrope and talk about some of these other, posting and the quiz. So, the quiz will be in Blackboard. I will set it so that you can, so that there would be multiple attempts possible. Um, I won't, I won't grade all of them, but I do that only because on occasion something happens, somebody clicks the wrong thing, or something happens and you get kicked out of the quiz. I would like you to be able to go back and do it, take it again in case there's some strange occurrence like that. But it does, on occasion, it does happen. All right. Well, so the quiz will be made available to you next week. I hope you can enjoy today's sunshine. I hear it's going to be somewhat mild for December, like in the 50s. So go outside and run around or something um, before it gets really cold and snowy. And yeah, thank you all for taking Design 1 this semester. I hope you learned something. I hope that now the goal, of course, is that by now at the end of this semester, you know things that you did not know at the beginning of the semester. All right. That is that. I will see you online or someday, somewhere in the future, in person once we get all this coronavirus stuff straightened out. All right. Enjoy the day.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye bye.